Hello all. Today we are going to see about component diagram for a petrol bank management system. So see here, what is a component diagram? Let's see the objective of component diagram. Component diagram falls under category of an implementation diagram. Implementation diagram is nothing but when you do an action, there are some steps to do the action. The steps are called implementation. The way how we are implementing the work, a task, or anything. It's a kind of diagram that models the implementation and deployment of the system. A component diagram in particular is used to describe the dependencies between various software components, such as the dependency between executable files and source files. Yeah, it's in other words, we can say that this component diagram is just a relationship between a two objects or two entities or two relationships. It's this main objective of the component diagram. Coming to component, what is a component? A component represents a software entity in a system. It is this visualization is the component diagram depiction. It is in a rectangular box with two rectangles protruding from the left side. Okay. Coming to dependency, a dependency is used to model the relationship between two components. For example, parent, child. A parent here, a child here. So they took parent depends, child depends on parents. So this dependency is used to show the relationship between any two components. Coming to scenario of this application. See here, first let me before going to scenario, I will explain the scenario in this component diagram itself. First, my first component here is petrol bunk system. I have named it. You can name any name to your component according to your project. So I have given here petrol bunk system. Under petrol bunk management system, I dependent four main components: customer, login, functions, and price. Four main components because these are the major thing. While customer goes in a petrol bank, he first logins using his customer ID and his password. Then he sees the functions. Then he pay. Then he sees the price of the fuel or petrol or kerosene which he chose. So customer is authorizing, depend authorizing. Then it here is interface. The action is being depicted. Fuel functions are being shown. So I gave here interface and functions requirements. Choosing the price, choosing the liter, choosing the amount requirements. Then here price and under price depends upon payments. So at last I'm finishing with online payments interface. Same here. Overall component. Last component I gave database. Database I gave because the data which customer is going to give to the petrol bank. So I gave you a database. So this is artifact. Artifact is nothing but in artifact you give your attributes and operations which you are using in your whole project. So I given first I these three are attribute and these three are operations. So this is how our component diagram is being drawn. So this is the scenario of the application. Sorry, this is the scenario of the application. First I'm giving a main component. Under main component there are four sub components: customer, login, functions, price. They four components are dependent direct dependency to the petrol bunk system, and customer is authorizing is authentication, login ID and password. After authorizing, it's going to functions, the it interfacing in middle because the actions are being carried out. So after functions, the requirements are being chosen by the customers. After functions and requirements are over, the customer is seeing the price. After the price is confirmed or fixed or a updated price is seen, he's paying. Doing through online payments is another interface option to being carried out. After all these are over, database is being shown. In database, we are entering all the details, data which our customers choose. So these are the artifact, DB, methods, and requirements. So this is our result. Okay. Now coming to deployment diagram. Deployment diagram also comes under implementation diagram category. Same way as component diagram. Deployment diagram models the hardware used in implementing a system. This is the main word here. Hardware used in implementing a system and association between those hardware components. Components can also be shown as deployment diagram to show. Okay. deployment diagram can also be used early on design phase. Yeah, it's nothing but a design phase. See here, first this is our first node. These are node boxes are called node. These artifact as usual. These are nodes. See here, petrol bunk. I'm given first node, main node. In this main node, there are many sub nodes such as log device, first logging, customer ID, authentication, showing the functions, displaying, payment, and network interfacing. So after all these nodes are functions are being carried out, now coming to payment after how we pay. One option is cash on delivery, but since we are working on software, uh, the option is online payment. So I am giving here after payment, the node is directly communicating to network interface node using HTTP server I am using here. So the network is deployed to petrol bunk network server, which is method is network connection deployed, and artifact here is server, and the server hardware component is hardcore Intel Pentium 200 MHz and memory is 64 MB. It's according to your wish. You can give any hardware components which you are using in your software project. So this is how the deployment diagram is being depicted in the software engineering project. Sorry. First component diagram, just a rectangular box components, and this deployment diagram is the images figures depicted using node boxes. So this is how your deployment diagram for the application is being made. So the result, the deployment diagram for the petrol bunk management system is done and verified. Same way component diagram also is done and verified. Thank you guys.